Welcome to the Void. We are a pair of basic liches, and today we're going to be unboxing this Call of Cthulhu 7th edition starter set.
The spooky season is nigh, and what better way to celebrate and get in the mood than to check out some H.P. Lovecraft Call of Cthulhu role-playing, arguably the most popular horror role-playing game available on the market.
There is an older starter set. This happens to be the new reprint of the starter set that just recently came out. It sells for $29.99 MSRP.
We also have that old starter set, and we are going to take a look at that at the end of the video just to let you know if there are any differences that are worth noting. Call of Cthulhu is not like Pathfinder. This is not Dungeons and Dragons. You are not playing superheroes. It's the 1920s, 1930s, Prohibition era. You're playing normal folk that get sucked into extraordinary circumstances. They uncover the Cthulhu mythos that there is something greater and awful out in the universe that most people are obliviously aware of. And it is up to us to sort of figure out mysteries, uncover dark secrets, thwart cults, and probably get eaten alive by some sort of horrible, horrible Lovecraftian monster.
This is a percentile game system, which means we use a lot of percentile dice in our rolls, as well as building our characters with. The Dungeon Master is called a Keeper, and the players are called Investigators.
Okay, so like a couple of investigators from Arkham, we are going to find out if it's worth your hard-earned cash. We'll let you know.
Let's go.
All right,
let's do it. R'lyeh. Pretty cool. It's very lightweight and slim.
This is a very narrow box. I'm not expecting a ton of stuff in here.
No. From Chaosium Inc.
Ooh.
I love this box art. The previous box art is very comical and animated.
Yeah, it's a little it's almost, I don't want to say cartoony, but
it's animated.
Yeah.
It has like a Fortnite style.
I don't think it's quite that animated, but it doesn't convey the proper tone that this one does.
This is the tone. Very nice.
First thing we have here, we have a nice little sleeve of role-playing dice. They are fairly basic, wouldn't you say there, Kamo?
As basic as we are.
Absolutely. Doesn't look like they really spared a ton of extra money on these things. They wanted the cheapest dice possible, but you're going to get 2 percentile dice. They have it in green and blue, and they also give you another D10. So you got 1 D10 and 2 percentile dice, which is nice because this is what you're primarily rolling with this system, and having these 3 allows you to do the bonuses and penalties when you're trying to make like more difficult checks. The way that the system works is normally you're going to roll your percentile dice, you roll them, and you are hoping to roll under your statistics. So I rolled a 58 here, so if my stat for perception was 60, I'd be okay, but if it was 50, I'd be screwed. It's very, very basic. They are very simple and easy to read. So if you're coming at this as a brand new player, that sort of makes sense to just have something incredibly basic. And then for the rest of us that are dice junkies, we have like our vaults, like our Social Security box at the bank, just filled with like our dice goblin.
Glass dice, gold dice, platinum dice.
Absolutely. In the little read me first section, it is sort of telling you how to go through the included booklets of this starter set. It tells you to start with Book 1. Makes sense. Book 1 is Alone Against the Flames, which is a solo adventure that will teach you how the game runs, what to expect from a Call of Cthulhu style adventure, and it kind of walks you through creating your characters. Book 2 is going to include the rules. So if you want to be a keeper of arcane lore, or if you want to be an investigator, Book 2 is where you're going to find all the rules for playing this game. And then finally in Book 3, the other 3 adventures that are included in this starter set, that's where you're going to find those.
Starter adventure. First one is Book 1, Alone Against the Flames. I want to take a moment to appreciate this woman's expression here. I really enjoy it. Obviously can't dive too deep into this because I don't want to spoil anything, but damn, the artwork in here is very nice.
Yeah, that's a cool piece right
Does this look new than the previous version?
No, this looks very similar.
This is similar?
I like the layout too. It's not like it's very classy looking. It's got that like old-timey paper look.
You've got like the runes on the side as well as like the tentacles for the header. Why is it set up in, oh wow, everything is set up as in like choose your own adventure.
Yeah. It's very nostalgic for me because I don't know about you, but I loved choose your own adventure books when I was
Me
a little
too, I
kid.
play them all the time.
And that's literally how this is. It's like a paragraph. It's almost like a paragraph board game. Like if you ever played like Tales from Arabian Nights, where it's like you do something and it tells you to go. It's like look up paragraph 57, and then you read the blurb of 57, and it gives you a couple options you can do, and then you're going to be rolling your percentile dice, and you're like, oh no, the guy spotted me.
So does that mean we could play this on our own as well if we wanted to?
Yes.
Yeah, that's always a great feature for any of these starter sets, is being able to solo play.
Yep.
This is wonderful.
That's pretty much what it's designed for,
Yeah.
is to do it that way. I just sort of did it with my wife because we thought it would be fun, and it was. Got some cool artwork. What do you think of the construction of the book itself?
I'd give it a 3 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
It's staple bound. Quality of the paper is okay. I see some wear and tear getting into this. It's not going to last very long.
This is what I would describe as functional.
Yes.
This is not really, it's not there to wow you at all. Going Against the Flames, which I believe you can actually purchase separately. All right, diving deeper into the starter set. And we haven't mentioned this before, but this is actually the 40th anniversary. Call of Cthulhu premiered in 1981, so 2021 when this set was released, or maybe I think it came out in 2022. But this is what it was for. It was for the 40th anniversary of the game. We have Book 2, which is the introductory rules, the quick start rules. This is only 23 pages, and the back has a quick reference chart. The front has some credits, so about 20 pages. The art is super all over the place for Call of Cthulhu, right? Like, I think this interior artwork is
incredible,
really good.
But the exterior
But then that's
art,
not so great.
Yeah. Then there's a few things inside there. Maybe it's a
But
different
that's
artist.
charming. It's got to be a different artist.
Yeah.
But that's pretty charming.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Look out!
Oh, a deep one's gonna get you.
Watch behind you.
So there are the full rules in here for creating investigator, where it goes through getting an occupation and all your skills. Describes what all the skills do, which is pretty important because
It's
you have
very important.
weird stuff in Call of Cthulhu like credit rating and library use. Yeah, but yeah, there's tons and tons of skills because this is a skill-based system. So your character sheet is just chock full of all that stuff. Bonus and penalty dice. Yep, you're right. See, oh, look at those. So they have pictures in the book of the Q workshop dice. Look at how friggin' cool those look.
Those are really nice. That would have been really cool if this came with those.
Right, that is.
I know it's just a beginner's box, but
Those are sweet, man.
those are really nice.
Goes over sanity. There's madness tables, combat.
Yeah, going over each of the skills is important for the players because if they're coming from 5th edition, a lot of these skills are very different. They play very differently in this game, and there's a lot of new skills that kind of relate and are themed to the classic era itself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yes.
mechanics.
Mechanic. There's like driving. This is not a very combat-heavy game. Like if you're getting into combat in Call of Cthulhu, you are going to get messed up. And even like fighting like just a normal person, like you get in a tussle with someone, like that's something you might survive. If you're going up against anything Lovecraftian, like you are so screwed. So these quick start rules are 100% free online. If you go to Chaosium's website, we'll put a link down in the nether region below where you can find these for free. Like most popular role-playing games, these starter sets, the quick start rules, they are entirely free for you to download and consume. And we didn't mention this, but the Alone Against the Flames, you can purchase that as its own adventure module, as a solo adventure, and that is $9.95. It retails for $10.
This is a very strange art to me. All the cover art on these is very strange. Look at this expression.
They look like they just saw the VHS from the movie The Ring, and their friggin' jaws just like exploded open.
This guy's like, what?
Well, I mean, he's blissfully unaware of the tentacle nonsense that is happening behind him.
Only one
so.
guy knows, and
What's in front of him too?
she sees, right? Because there's tentacles over here, but this guy has no clue what their problem is.
He's in on it. That's why he's a cultist.
Yeah. He's shining the flashlight on it.
He's like, what do you see? What do you see, Marilyn?
You don't see the tentacles everywhere? Book 3, Paper Chase, and Other Adventures.
So I believe that these are 3 classic adventures that are from older editions of the game, and that have just been re-implemented for the 7th edition rules.
So this one's pretty deep with some ready-made investigators.
Yeah, the artwork is all over the place in these
is.
books, but I don't necessarily hate it. It has this very charming quality, and I'm not expecting something of the level of Pathfinder or D&D, because it's meant to evoke sort of a different feeling.
Yeah.
It's
supposed to be weird.
We're going back to the weird tales that H.P. Lovecraft's short stories used to appear in. The maps are very basic looking, but they're very readable.
Yeah. The layout's great.
Yep.
Creatures are here, maps are here, explanations of areas.
Yeah, they have like big, like full page splash artwork for in between the different scenarios, the different adventures. And what did it say? To run through all of them, it's going to give you about 10 hours worth of adventure time.
It seemed like it would be a lot more than that.
That's one of the cool things I actually really like about Call of Cthulhu games, is that they're not long. It's like you can crank them out in like 1 or 2 sessions if you're really snappy.
If you last that long.
And you can die so fast. That's why they don't last that long.
Yep. This is a tornado of eyeballs, by the way, obviously.
Which is going to show up in my next Dungeon Crawl Classics game. Paper Chase is incredibly simplistic, and it is really meant to be an introductory. You're actually supposed to play it one-on-one as one keeper of arcane lore and one investigator.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is really another cool perk of this system, is that it is meant for lower levels of play. Like, you really don't need to have a huge group to play Call of Cthulhu, because let's be real, like horror, if you have like 8 or 9 people, or even like 5, 6, or 7 at the table, like, it's gonna turn into a bunch of dick jokes and nonsense so fast. If you're really trying your hardest to get a mood going, to set that evocative horror tension, 1, 2, or 3 people, it works so good.
I really love these games. When we played it was really great. We played the Deadlights adventure.
We did that one, yep.
Slowly investigating new clues about this unknown creature is really eerie and fun, and the creature itself is scary. Like, we don't know what it can do, so when we encounter it, we're like, we're dead, like...
Yeah, we were like, your natural instinct is to just run away.
Yeah.
Which is very horror movie-like. It's such a different vibe from D&D, but I implore you, like, especially if it's around Halloween time, if you're interested in this, Call of Cthulhu is like so much fun, and it's not like a really complicated game.
No.
It's, again, you're rolling dice, you're going to be asked to make skill checks, except it's actually easier to explain to somebody than Dungeons and Dragons.
Very much so.
Because you roll these 2 dice together.
It's percentages.
That are your percentages. You have a percentage in a skill. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if your firearm skill is 70, you need to roll a 70 or lower. I didn't do it. Last part of the box here, we're going to get into, I believe, pre-made characters.
The investigator sheets.
And we got these are, looks like old-timey, like
Parchment.
Yeah. Completely filled out for you. They're in color. They've got some character portraits. The art on this is it's okay.
I don't know. I like those. They're very nice. If I'm comparing it to like,
Indy,
it's Indiana
it's
Jones.
Nevada Jones.
No.
Yay!
Oh my God, his stepbrother's in here.
It's like the knockoff rental movie version of Indiana Jones. Nevada Jones! He's the archaeology professor from Arkham. So these are double-sided. They've got personal descriptions on the backs. They've got like these items that are treasured possessions, everything you start out with.
I like these. I think these are my favorite part of this box set, of this starter set.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've become like, in the past like few years, I'm like a big proponent of pre-generated characters.
Me too.
Like, I am all about them at this point. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to do any work. I don't want to have to make these myself. I don't want to hunt them down on the internet. I just want to have them. I want to splay them out on the table and be like, hey guys, pick a character, and you're up and running in like 20 minutes. You just have to explain what the character sheet does at that point.
Yeah, this is Mortal Kombat, baby. Just choose your character. I'm glad these are not just black and white. I'm glad that we get some color.
But I love it. You can just be a weird butler guy, a 58-year-old butler. Like, who doesn't want to be that? All right, last but not least, we have some blank character sheets.
For the creative.
Yep, so if you want to make your characters, I believe the rules are in here to do so. Paper's not super bad, but...
That's the same paper that the others are on. Yeah. No, it's not.
It's a little flimsier,
yeah.
But you don't really need these. You could just print them out, I guess, if you wanted. And last but not least, we have the handouts, which are so crucial to the importance of Call of Cthulhu. You're doing investigations, you're solving mysteries. It's so wonderful when you come across a journal or you find a newspaper clipping and your keeper, he just reaches over that screen and he hands you the actual diary journal page or whatever.
It's an investigator game, so there's going to be tons and tons of clues.
And we're not going to really show you them because these are
no, that would spoil
spoilers.
Yeah.
But I do kind of wish that they're single-sided, and they're kind of on this. They're almost on like photo paper. If you feel it, it's like
it's a little better quality, but
yeah,
not like yeah,
it's not bad.
It's all right.
I do wish that like for this one, it's like a journal entry. I wish that it was just cut out. It wasn't just printed on a piece of white paper.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Call of Cthulhu is that if you go online and you type in the scenario that you're running, chances are somebody has already created some sort of files for you to download and print, either for free or maybe for a few bucks. You can find all sorts of awesome resources, especially for these scenarios that are like really old and they've been in multiple editions of the games. So I think like the clues and stuff are pretty universal, like throughout the editions. Like even if it was for an old edition, like I think the clues would still be the same, but I could be wrong about that.
See, I would have loved to have seen maybe like an ultimate beginner's box set.
I know what you're saying.
Right, where maybe we paid a little more, but got some really fun, high quality handouts and clues,
Yep.
maybe some objects in here that related to some of the adventures. Like if you found a ring or something, maybe we'd include it with this little plastic ring. Doesn't like just having things.
The tactile experience
yeah.
is really important.
And that's it for the box. That's empty.
That's everything in here.
Yep.
All right, this is what the old Call of Cthulhu starter set used to look like, and this is one that I've played with. Price went up by $5.
Huh.
So that's probably just due to inflation and the world being a flaming dumpster fire. I don't think it really has anything to do with the contents, because if I'm looking at the back of the box here, it looks identical.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
it does. It's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. This cover art, that's the same artist that's been doing some of those things that are on the covers of the book.
Okay.
It's got that look, right?
Kind of.
Like,
Yeah, it's like, what are their expressions?
all right, so first up, we've got that same exact, what's in the box?
Yep.
We got that. That's identical. Then we have something called Meta Arcade, Cthulhu Chronicles, the official Call of Cthulhu interactive fiction game. Download on the App Store. Who knows if that's even still a thing.
Similar, maybe crappier dice.
The dice are not, they're not Cthulhu green. Are
Nope.
those gray?
They're the gray, and then the extra D10 tens die is blue.
They're really in there.
That's muddy.
That's a gray. I actually don't hate that color.
Yeah.
Same exact quality dice. Then it looks like we have the 3 books here, and I have played through them, so they do sort of hold up in terms of quality. These are red. It's supposed to make it look like a faux leather book.
Yeah.
Which, if you were gonna make actual leather books, sure, but these are not.
The same image on the front of the cover of the
and
book.
it's cropped. It's cropped.
Yes.
Whereas the old one, the new ones, they go all the way across,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really cropped down on these.
Same on the inside.
Yeah, there is errata and fixes in these, so they if there's any rules updates, if there's anything wrong, the newer version is the one you kind of want to get because it has all the fixes in it. Character sheets also look cheaper.
They're all the same characters.
Same characters, but they're not on that cool looking paper any longer.
Indy's here. Nevada Jones.
Nevada Jones.
Yeah, those other pages looked a lot cooler. If only for that print that covered the entire
Yeah, it made it look
surface.
like it was on old-timey parchment paper.
Yeah. And then the blank ones are very similar as well. blank pages. There's something else in here? What's this? Oh, okay, the handouts.
Way less handouts.
That's a small book.
Oh, it's a book, which is worse.
That's really weird. You have to tear them all out.
Yeah, that's not good. So in the new printing, you don't have this book. You have individual sheets of paper, which is way better for a handout, because that's what a handout is. You don't give people a book and say, turn to page 5 for your handout.
Yeah, just don't look at the other page.
Don't look at the other stuff. So yeah, pretty quick and dirty rundown there, but if you have an old printing, it technically will work, but the new one seems to be better in every single way.
Agreed.
All right, what do you think? What are your general thoughts about this starter set, this box set?
I think you're really going to take it from the point of view of a beginning player.
Sure, that's kind of how we approach these.
Yeah.
That's how we feel starter sets. That's what we feel that they're meant for, is the person that doesn't have the rule books. They don't know anything. They just want to get a small taste of the system and find out if it's good for them and their friends.
So it wasn't like marketed to us as veteran players, of longtime players of tabletop games. This is marketed towards new players. Maybe they play a different system. Maybe they haven't played any tabletop games at all. So this is a better cover art for the type of game it is.
Yep.
For someone who wants to play and sees this cover art, I'm not so sure they would get kind of the vibe from this game. It's definitely this. This is a lot better. So this already comes with Alone Against the Flames, which you can purchase on its own for $10. But then this also comes with another 3 adventures that you can play through. Storm Isle did not have that much play content. It was basically one very quick adventure. I mean, it's like level 1, 2, and 3.
It was like 4 sessions, I think, for us, if I remember from the video.
As far as playtime goes, that's a big win against that.
Even though this only says 10 hours of playtime, I don't think that's
I don't believe that.
But we're kind of slower players anyway.
For over 10 hours of gameplay.
Okay. 10 hours, we'll say, is the minimum.
Yeah, 10-hour minimum.
If you crush through this.
Yeah.
Or you just die real fast.
I'm just going to read these adventures to you. That would take 10 hours.
This could be like a Pathfinder 2e beginner's box. You're not that far off from that $40 to $50 price tag. Would I have liked to see them bump this up and make this even nicer? Have some nicer dice. Have some books that are not just staple bound, that have actual book covers, that are of different quality materials so that they're going to last a long time. These, I could see people just like folding them over and reading them.
Yeah.
They could really improve on the handouts. Like you mentioned, there could be some props in there. That stuff is key for Call of Cthulhu. But as someone has played through some of this and run it myself, the content is excellent.
Yeah.
The content is where it's at. Whereas that Stormwreck Isle adventure was just very basic. It was just kind of like blah, and it needed kind of like 1 or 2 more passes in the editing process to really sort of get it to like even just passable standards. Like I really had to put a lot of work into that to make it fun. They had 40 years of adventures to choose from, and they picked some great ones. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a huge fan of having that solo adventure. I think that is an amazing way to learn a brand new system from scratch. You can either do it yourself or you can do it like I did. I played it with my wife, and I just took on the role of the keeper of arcane lore, and she didn't have to do anything other than react to what I was reading. And it gets you really in that mood, in that different mindset for running a Call of Cthulhu game, which is completely different than Pathfinder or 5e or Dungeons & Dragons. The tabletop role-playing space is so crowded right now, and you need a product that is going to wow and dazzle people with the artwork and with the components. There's a lot of really cool horror role-playing games that are on the market that didn't really exist 5-10 years ago when 7th edition Call of Cthulhu hit the scene. I know Free League has one. It's called like Vassin, and that is beautiful. It's all about like folklorish horror and creatures in like Ireland and Sweden, and it has some of the most amazing artwork you'll ever see. I just picked up a game called Shiver role-playing game, and it looks like Mike Mignola Hellboy artwork. Really awesome stuff. So yeah, this stuff is important. You can't really make it in 2023 with this artwork, this thing. You can't do this.
It looks like Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it kind of does.
That's kind of what they tried to market it as, almost.
And there's some dark that happens in Call of Cthulhu. For me, again, yeah, my favorite thing is sort of the handouts and the quality of the adventures themselves. And I think the rules are pretty good.
Yeah.
The things that I wish were better, and especially since they redid this, I wish we saw more of the stuff that was from like that Pathfinder set where you had those character sheets that really hold your hand and guide you through every aspect. Make them like a double spread 2-page thing where there's arrows pointing to everything. It's telling you everything that this character sheet does.
Like even more beginner friendly.
Yes.
Like a lot of tabletop games forget that people who don't know how to play tabletop games need a lot more help with this.
Are you going to give it a Lich's recommend?
Yeah, it's got the Lich's recommend for me.
I think this is also a clear recommend from me as well. If you are interested in a horror role-playing game for $20 to $25 or even $30 if you want to support your friendly local game store, I think this is a good buy. I think this is a wonderful set. It's got everything you need, and all you need is one other person to get started. And I love, for me, the wow factor is the solo adventure. That's my favorite thing. I love that is there. Every single role-playing game should have that. That sets the tone. It tells you everything. It teaches you how to play with a specific one. It's really great. And then I love how it tells you, like, the next time you play, you just gotta have one person.
Yeah.
And then the next time after that, you just need 2 people. It's just like little baby steps.
Slowly growing.
It's really, really cool. It's really well done. Call of Cthulhu is more popular than ever, so it's nice to see that they sort of have updated this starter set and kind of taken them into the modern age for this very vintage Flappers era sort of game.
Well, that's all, friends. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to Basic Liches for more videos. Told Dead for notifications.
Go ahead, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of this Call of Cthulhu starter set. Is it the gold standard for you? We want to know.
If you're curious to see some of our other unboxings, we did the Storm Argyle here. We also unboxed the Savage Pathfinder over there, Ultimate Box Set. Thank you all for joining us. Later, Liches.
Bye!